Okay, this is a very special berry picking because I think this is the last harvest we are going to get from this mulberry bush. This house, when we first got it, had a row of very small bushes like here. So I thought a mulberry bush would be similar and planted it very close to the house. And it turns out it got a lot bigger than I intended it to. So out of fear for it, the roots attacking the foundation of the house, we are going to have to remove this bush. It has inspired us to plant more mulberry in our new garden. We're going to have a whole row of just mulberry bushes. But this may be the last harvest for this valiant fellow. So thank you for the fruit of your bounty. We shall pick your berries and make jam.
Very good.
Ooh. Basically, if you can brush them very lightly and they come off and they're ready to go, if there's any resistance, then they're not ripe enough. So you just pretty much just caress the branch and they should fall right off. And I just love the color, the taste, and there's nothing like fresh mulberry. Like these taste amazing right off the tree. The red berries are the ones that aren't quite ripe yet. They get big and dark when they're ready to go, when they're at their sweetest. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice, you know. This tree probably puts out for like 2 weeks straight, maybe. This giant bush puts out. Actually, the first year I missed the harvest because I was wrestling. So this is my second year I've been making jam off this tree. But this bush, this gigantic bush from the 80s. But it's probably like 3 years old. It's really good for zone 9, like what we're in. Other hot, dry areas. Doesn't take a lot of water. I'm surprised it's doing so well because we cut off the water to the front and we're getting a lot of berries falling off small because it was deprived of water, and I really only watered it once and it just went, berries. But it'll be sad watching this guy die after how much it's fed us, but it will live on. I want to make Browsey Acres mulberry jam a thing. I usually try to get like 5 cups worth. Like that's a good yield. I mean, you can do as little as 2 or 1. You just won't get that much. But so this is probably about 4 to 5 cups of mulberry. I think it's recommended you use half a cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice for every 5 cups of fruit. So Trav likes it a little sweeter, on the sweeter side. So if this is 4, then it'll be to his liking. Squeeze the lemony goodness in there. I already ate this earlier, so oops. Well, no seed. Come here, you go. Thought I saw another one. Oh well, that'll be a surprise for someone. All right, that's about 2. I like to put it in a strainer because I can, wash them, and then they put them on top of a paper towel, and they're pretty much dried out by the time it's time to get very excited. And now we're just gonna boil it for like 20 minutes. You can use honey or sugar. I used honey on my last batch, so I'm just using some sugar now to shake it up. Woo. And so the sugar and the lemon juice is like to be a preservative. And now I just stir. And oh yeah, I want to use a masher. I mean, you can just mush it with a spoon. I like to mash as well, just to get the juices out. Also, like the mulberries kind of like to stay in berry form. So just to make it easier to spread, you can mash it. But if you like your jam chunky, don't mash it. But mulberries have a tendency to stay chunky, so I like to give them a little bit of help. And give them the mashings. Like if you're gonna eat it right away, you don't even have to add any sugar. You can just boil it down. We already have 2.5 jars of this in the fridge, so I put a little bit more sugar in this one than the other ones. It's gonna have to last longer than the other ones. So this was probably 4 cups with half a cup of sugar. I really love the color too. It's like a fuchsia. As it starts to juicy up, I'll tell you how I wait to tell if it's done. See how I'm like pulling the jelly, like the jam away from the side? I drag the spoon this way. When there's a little bit of a delay and I can actually see the bottom of the pot is when I know it's done. I don't want it to boil too much, so I kind of let it simmer. And this is kind of like meditative time. It just takes a while. I've really gotten into making bread during quarantine. And then because of my new affinity for bread, I've really got into jams. And so I was so excited for the mulberry tree or bush to get ripe enough to make jam again. So I finally got to combine my homemade bread with my homemade jam, and it is so good. Oh God, I love how it smells. See, I just keep pulling it away from the side, trying to see if I can see the bottom. I don't really expect it yet, but you're gonna stop cooking it before it really gets the consistency you want it to, because it's gonna get thicker when it cools. That was a mistake I made with my first jam. I didn't stop until it was where I wanted it, and then it ended up being like
super thick.
Which is great for like a charcuterie kind of a jam. You want it to be a little bit thicker, but for like regular jam, for your day-to-day jam purposes, I like it a little bit thinner. If you like a jam a little bit more watery, then stop sooner, you know? It's your life, it's your jam. Oop. Okay, we're getting close. See it, you can see the stripe. Oop, almost all the way. I would say maybe just 30 more seconds. The cook time varies on the berry, how juicy it is, how hot you have the stove. That's getting close. You see how it's almost like, by the time I got to the end though, the close is up. I want to be able to keep it like a full white stripe. Almost there. And mind you, when it cools down, it will get thicker. All right. I think that's about it. Yep. Turn it off. Make sure it doesn't get stuck or anything. Now I'm going to design my jar. Being that I am always a judoka at heart, I use athletic tape for everything. And so it's just my little piece of me that I always label with athletic tape. So I pull a little strip off, the same width of strip that I would tape my fingers with back in the day. Wrap it around. This is just how I like to label it. So I'm actually toasting up some sourdough bread that I made 3 days ago now. It's still really good. It's best fresh. I'm gonna make some more. This is Morla, the ancient one, who is a 140-year-old strain of yeast that's been used to make sourdough for the last 140 years. That we got from like this mom and pop bakery down in San Diego. So all my yeasts have names of things that that need to feed, because I have to feed my yeast. Except for Morla. Morla is named after Morla, the ancient one, from Neverending Story, because she is so old. All the yeasts that I got from Breadtopia were named after things that need to feed. So there was Sarlacc, after their Sarlacc pit. There's Shelob, from the giant spider in the cave that needed to eat in Lord of the Rings, needed to feed on orcs. And then there's Piranha, who was named after the plants, the bitey plants, and Mario. And then there's also Audrey too, from Little Shop of Horrors. And then I actually just caught, well, it's getting kind of smoky. I think it's ready to go. I just caught some wild yeast from the air here at Browsey Acres. So I made my own Browsey Acres strain, which was a very good loaf as well. Hot. Okay. Ooh, hot jam with hot bread. This is going to be so good. The consistency of the jam changes as it cools down. So it's still got a little of that wateriness to it. And once you put it in the fridge, it'll coalesce, I guess, even more, coagulate. Ooh, hot jam, hot bread. Oh my god. This is definitely a little sweeter than my other batches. Trav's really gonna like this one. Wow. It's really good.
Ooh. 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 Very good.
I thought this was jam on my teddy bear. It was the microphone. Okay.
Jamming on the microphone.
Mm-hmm. Jamming on the mic? Oh yes, just the perfect amount. Browsey Acres mulberry jam with lemon juice sugar. Don't panic, it's organic. Made by Ronda 51620. Ooh. Ah, smells so good. But yeah, you can use honey, you can use sugar. I like honey more, but it adds like kind of like a muskier like taste to it. So it's not like just pure taste of the mulberry.